The world will do everything in its power to make you forget who you are. It will label you, mold you, push you, silence you, and shove its narratives down your throat until your voice becomes an echo of theirs. But if you bend, if you crumble, if you allow the world to define you, then you never truly existed to begin with. You were just a reflection, a puppet, a shadow walking through someone else's dream. You were not born to blend, you were born to burn. Your identity is not something you inherit. It is something you forge, something you claim through fire and defiance. You do not wait for permission to be who you are. You declare it, you demand it, you take it. There will be people who tell you to soften your edges, to fit the frame, to follow the rules written by cowards who never dared to rewrite their own. They'll ask you to quiet your convictions so their mediocrity doesn't feel exposed. But that is the trap, that is the death, that is the slow decay of every man who once had greatness in him but bartered it away for acceptance. If you want comfort, you can have it, but don't ever expect to keep your soul. A man without identity is a ghost. He drifts, he follows, he obeys. He bends to every wind, every voice, every scream that tells him he's not enough unless he becomes something he is not. And by the time he realizes he's lost, he's already forgotten who he ever was. But a man with identity, he is fire in the flesh. He walks differently, he talks with weight, he acts with intention. He doesn't flinch when the world roars because he knows the world cannot move him. His identity is not based on applause. It is not shaped by approval. It is carved in solitude, through silence, through failure, through 1,000 nights when he was all he had, and still he didn't fold. You must become that man, the man who owns his identity not through arrogance, but through absolute alignment. Alignment between what he thinks, what he speaks, and what he does. No mask, no act, no performance. Just raw, unfiltered truth in motion. Owning your identity means you stop asking for validation. It means you stop shrinking in rooms where others might feel small in your presence. You don't water yourself down to make others comfortable. You don't laugh at jokes that insult your purpose. You don't nod along with lies just to keep the peace. If something violates your spirit, you walk away, even if you walk alone, especially if you walk alone. Because solitude is where the real you is built. Not in crowds, not in noise, but in those quiet, brutal moments when it's just you, your choices, and your consequences. That's when you realize your identity isn't a costume you put on in the morning. It's a battlefield scar you've earned, a fire you've survived, a code you refuse to break even when it hurts. The weak imitate. The strong create, and the elite remain. They do not chase trends, they set them. They do not shift with the times, they anchor themselves in timeless principles, discipline, courage, integrity. They don't need a mirror to tell them who they are. They know. Every step, every word, every look in their eyes declares it louder than any speech could. This world doesn't need more polite sheep. It needs wolves who have remembered their blood. It needs men who don't bend the knee to public opinion. It needs warriors who say, "This is who I am, and I will not apologize for it." Your identity is not up for debate. You were not made to be digestible. You were made to be undeniable, and that requires sacrifice. To own your identity, you must be willing to lose the illusions you've clung to, the fake friends, the hollow praise, the empty comforts that soothe your weakness and rob your strength. You must be willing to be misunderstood, mocked, hated, even abandoned, but in that fire, something greater is born. A self that cannot be bought, manipulated, or erased. The man who owns his identity doesn't need to explain it. He lives it. He is the standard. He walks into a room and shifts the gravity. People feel him before they see him, not because he's loud, but because he's aligned, rooted, unshakable. He doesn't perform. He dominates. Quietly, steadily, without compromise. There are men who spend their lives trying to impress the world. And there are men who spend their lives building themselves so relentlessly that the world has no choice but to take notice. Choose the second every single time. Let your results scream who you are. Let your actions make the noise. Let your discipline define your worth. Because when you own your identity, you stop competing with the crowd. You become the one they can't reach. You become the one they watch from below, not because you wanted to be above, but because you refused to be beneath yourself. Every day, the world will test your identity. It will ask, do you really believe in what you say? It will throw you into situations that demand you either betray yourself or rise, and that is your proving ground. That is your war. That is where the separation happens, between those who wear a mask and those who wear the crown. You can't fake identity. You can't borrow it. You can't steal it from a quote or a book or a mentor. You must bleed for it. You must lose everything you are not to discover what you are. You must strip yourself down to the bone and say, whatever is left, whatever survives this fire, is mine. The world is terrified of people who know who they are because they can't be bought. They can't be bullied. They can't be broken. These men do not flinch in the face of chaos. They lead, they build, they conquer, not by pretending to be perfect, but by owning their path with ruthless authenticity. So stop apologizing for your hunger. Stop diluting your truth. Stop camouflaging your brilliance just to avoid conflict. If your existence threatens the comfort of the average, let it. That's the price of standing tall in a world that begs you to kneel. That's the cost of sovereignty. The only thing worse than being hated for who you are is being loved for who you're not. So tell me, who are you? Not the role you play, not the mask you wear, not the job, the clothes, the status, or the script they gave you. Who are you beneath the noise, beneath the doubt, beneath the fear? Answer that, and then commit, ruthlessly, without deviation. Own your flaws, own your gifts, own your rage, your peace, your purpose, your power. You are not here to be half of yourself. You are not here to fit into their idea of acceptable. You are here to become undeniable. Your identity is your weapon. It is your armor. It is your foundation. Without it, you are soft clay, shaped by every hand but your own. With it, you are a mountain. Immovable, eternal, a force they must reckon with, respect, or be destroyed by. This is not about ego. This is about clarity, about knowing deep in your bones that you were not made to echo the world. You were made to shape it. And to do that, you must walk as the full weight of your being, not a watered-down version, not a diluted shell, but all of you, flaws, fury, fire, and all. There is no freedom in fitting in. There is only slavery with a smile. Real power begins when you stop lying to yourself, when you stop pretending, when you stop seeking their approval and start chasing your own standard. That is when everything changes. That is when the man awakens. The man who owns his identity doesn't need external permission because he has internal permission. He doesn't wait for the moment, he creates it. He doesn't ask the world for his place, he takes it. And when the storms come, as they always do, he does not retreat. He stands, he faces, he grows. You want real strength, then be yourself in a world that profits off your self-doubt. You want real courage, then speak your truth when silence is safer. You want real victory, then become so loyal to your identity that no temptation, no failure, no rejection can sever it. You're not lost, you're layered. Peel back what was never yours to carry. Peel back the shame, the doubt, the fear. Peel back every lie you've believed. Underneath it all is the man you were born to be, and he is waiting, not for rescue, but for permission from you. So give it. Give yourself permission to rise, to be bold, to be fierce, to be free. The world may not understand. Let them choke on confusion. While they question, you build. While they doubt, you dominate. While they follow trends, you become the source. Own your identity like your life depends on it, because it does. Everything you want, everything you fight for, everything you dream of, it all begins with who you are. So choose, not tomorrow, not when it's safe, now. The world doesn't need more men pretending to be something. It needs one man who dares to be himself completely. That man must be you.